if you follow particular stocks and you wonder how you're going to trade it, so there are 3 steps that we need to do. Might want to take a note on it. First step is, of course, let's say, for example, you have a stock that you're following and you want to trade. So I put in these examples of IBOX in this case. So the first step we want to identify is the supports and resistance. And the second step would be identify the ranges, right? And then the third step is what possible patterns setup that we can trade. Okay, so after we do our homework quickly, you can do that pretty quickly. Identify the supports and resistance, identify the ranges, the possible ranges, then look for possible setup that we can execute a trade. And then after we have all those 3 things in place, then we can able to make an entries and exits based on those information. Okay, so for example, yesterday here, this question you brought up yesterday, so I want to go back to yesterday and move on this stock, and then I think that UPSTs and from ARFM. You can apply on the this information on any stock, but let's take a look at it. Let's say we this is where the market open. You see the pink area here. This is the pre-market. The white part is markets open. The gray part here is after hours. SBFM. All right, so SBFM, that 5.25, as I mentioned, is can trade up to 565, 575. So if you're trading the stock while we are talking about this webinar here, feel free to, participate on it to say 565, 575. Okay. I want to put a stop below 515. All right. So let's get back to this roadblocks here. So first, I would identify the supports and resistance by looking at the pre-market here, because this is an intraday trade. So we're looking at the short term here. Okay, we're not looking further out. So intraday, okay. So it's important for us to identify those and get those information before we make a trade, and help us to make a winning trades and avoid, making mistakes. It's not going to be, as always, not going to be perfect, but if we do done our homework, more likely the chances that we can make a good trade is in our favor. Okay. So first of all, we're looking at the pre-market here. So I'm going to identify some key levels here. All right. So as you can see here, this is the key level right there as a support on the pre-market, and then in the pre-market resistance. So it's about in this area right here. Okay. So about 42 and 43. Okay. So look like we have the range here, 42 to 43. Okay, on RBLX. So when the market open, we are, by looking at the pre-market, to identify the range, the support and resistance, and draw the line. Okay. Then looking for the patterns. So what pattern, what setup that we have that allow us to make the trade. Okay. So If I'm looking at the resistance area, I'm gonna look further a little bit to the left to see what yesterday was support. Yesterday's support will turn into resistance. Okay, so these are the key levels on this. Okay, so the supports and resistance. So we identify these. So when the market opened, it dropped down. Okay, and then they come back. Right? We don't know when it's going to come back, and we're not going to try to catch the bottom. That's not what our job is. We're looking for this. If you're watching the stock and then you want to take a long trade, then the first thing I have in mind would be I'm looking for a red to green move. Okay, so that is setup that we're looking for, red to green move. And if the red to green move is in our range, and we have the range and the uh, supports and resistance, then that would be a possible trade for us. Okay, so in this case, we have 42 and 43, which be our range. And also, when this get back to here, it'll be a red to green move. Okay, once it's get the red to green move, that would be the time to execute a trade. Okay, then I'm looking for a pre-market low would be my stops. Okay, so if I'm looking for the pre-market low, I go below that a little bit. That would be my stop if I'm wrong, or if it's do a fake out, breakout, then that would be my stops. Okay, I don't know how low this thing go, so I don't know this here. Just imagine you don't know this here, you don't see this, because I don't know. You know, it's already here. Then now we see it, but when before this thing happened, we don't know how low the thing. So what I'm looking for is a red to green move, or a setup of a box and a rectangle for reversal pattern that we've been talking about many times here. So those are some of the setups that I'm looking for. Okay, and then once I identify the setup, then my question would be, is it gonna get in? Is it going into my ranges that I can trade? Okay, so when I identify the setup, a possible setup, especially when when the market drop and you're looking for the long play, then I'm looking for a rectangle, the box for reversal, the diversion patterns, and pop a bullish diversion, or a red to green move. Okay, those are the two possible setup that I'm looking for to trade. Okay, so I already have that in mind. All right, so you should have that in mind. Then we can see if it's going in the range, and then if it go in our range, then it's time for us to take a trade. So in this case, SPSF hit the 65.75 target there, guys. So if you take a trade, so I would put the stop below 540 now on SPSF. Okay, SPFM stop now below 540. Okay. So we're doing a webinar and trading at the same time. I'm not trading it, but I'm giving you guys guidance there. Okay? I'm not currently in the trade myself because I want to focus on this. Okay. But I'm giving you guidance if you guys who are taking the trade. Okay. So when this thing come back, and then say we wanted to trade a red to green move. Okay. Or we can trade, if you're looking at this and put in the 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes or something, you probably find a rectangle. But I'm using this 5 minutes for now. So, and as you can see, this is the more of a better setup to go to the red to green move. So when the stock come up here and to this level right here, this will be the trade that I would take, but this is my entry here. Then I put the stop below the pre-market low. Okay. If we come back and go down below the pre-market low, then I cut it out. Okay. But if it continue, the first scale out area would be right here, about $43. Okay. SBFM over, when you get to this area, it's SBFM here, SBFM, 75, then 85, then $6. So those are the pretty common area that you can see. So if you get back over SBFM over 575, you just gotta stop it, okay? 585 and 6, okay? Okay, so let's get back to the roadblocks here. So this is, I'm looking at what ticket trades for red to green move. After I identify the supposed resistance in my range, then I would take a trade, and then this would be my first scale out, will be at the $43 area. If it go above that, this is my second scale out here. This is the previous year resistance. Okay, that's another scale out spot, about 43.50. And then the next lack in profit or scale out, it would continue to go. Let's say, and then the next resistance would be here in this $44.25. Okay, 44.25, 44.35 in that area. I would lack in profit, or I scale out. If I scale out, then I would move my stop the rest below this area. Okay, so and if we go below here, then I stop out the rest. Okay, so let's say I lack in a profit in a quarter here, and maybe another quarter here, and maybe most of it up here, and then maybe hold a quarter or 1/8 left to see if any more run, any more coming this way, and just kind of let it ride and move the rest to the stop loss right there below the previous support resistance. Okay, so anybody see that? Okay, so let's take another example. Donna was asking another one. I think it's UPST. Okay. So UPST. So yesterday too. Today it's doing the same thing here, but yesterday, okay, for example, so we're gonna go back to step number 1. Okay, we're gonna look at the pre-market. Okay, see, we're gonna identify this support right here, this area. Okay, and then we can identify the pre-market resistance right in this area. That's the first, okay, and then second here, right at about on the top here, okay, and then another spot right here to close the gap, okay, and then if we go more, whoop, where does it come from? That would be right in the spot right here. You can see there. Next resistance, it's right there. Okay. Okay, so in this case, UPST. So it come down just like roadblocks. Make a turnaround. So I'm looking for a possible red to green move. Okay. And or the box, if we have the box of a rectangle. Okay. So the red to green move right here, about 88.65 or something. That's when it turned green. Okay, my stop would be below this low right there. Okay, so after the stock coming back, come down, open, maybe it opened, it came down, and then pop right back, and back over to my opening price. So I'm taking a trade here. Okay, I'm looking at this resistance to see if we go through this. If we go through this, my next resistance either going to be here. And we scale out, Once I scale out this, I will move my stop loss to here. When I scale out here, I move my stop loss to here. Okay. So this is another example of the red to green move here. Pretty profitable patterns to trade in the morning. Okay. So another one is a foam. Okay, looking at foam yesterday. Yes. I'm going to drill this until you get into your mind. Okay, folks. So identify the pre-market low, pre-market resistance, pre-market high, previous day resistance, support. I mean, the crack support now turned into resistance. Next level up here. See right here, the support, it will turn into resistance. Okay. Okay, so when the market opened, a firm came down, came back up, did the red to green move. Okay. So this is the level right here about your technical trade. Maybe the market low right there will be your stop. Okay. So as a pre-market low will be our stop. Red to green move, take a trade. Hit the first resistance. Okay. So I'm in the pre-market high. Pre-market resistance and pre-market high. So this is, I'm looking at it to see if it get through it. If it get through that, then will be my scale out here, and then I move my stop up here. Then if it get through this resistance, continue to go. This is my next scale out here. Move my stop up to here. If it come up here and then get through it, then my next scale out will be here. Move my stop to here. Okay, rinse and repeat. Okay, not that difficult, but this is important stuff that steps that we need to do in the morning, so that we have enough information to make a decision. Identify the market, pre-market low, pre-market high, pre-market resistance, pre-market high, previous day support has turned into resistance. Okay, so those are the area. So we identify to make a trade, and we get, okay, I'm looking for a red to green move. I have the rectangle or the box that I use it as a divergence setup. Then I can take a trade. Okay, I just do step by step. Once I have all those things in my note, I'm ready to take a trade. When the red to green move setup give me the setup and the start to go, then I will take a trade, and I just trade it confidently with the information I have. Of course, if it doesn't go my way, if it doesn't go, it come back down and start to go this way, then I just stop out, because sometimes it doesn't work. But if I only have 70% success rate, and I manage my stop well, I still end up to be profitable. Okay, because when you make profit, you make a lot here versus your stop right down there. Okay, you probably risking one. When you make a trade, you can make 2 to 3, maybe 4 times. Okay, so is that a 2 to 1 ratio? Is it a 3 to 1 ratio? Is it a 4 to 1 ratio? We start first with a expectation of a 2 to 1 ratio. If it has 2 to 1 ratio, then I will take a trade, and if it continue to go, then I will adjust my stop loss up and just scale out and piece it out a little bit and see if it go. And if I move my stop loss up, if it doesn't go, then I make 1 to 1. That's fine. You know, better than making a loss, or any profit is better than break even or loss. So if I only went up to here, then I make only 1 to 1. It's okay. Okay, but if continue to go, then I would scale out, and first I scale out first, and I see if it's gonna continue to go to the next resistance. Then I make another scale out. If it doesn't go, then I make sure I move my stop loss up, so I still end up making profit or break even trade. Okay, I said sound good to us? And Dominic here asked about LIXC, so let's take a look at that. Okay, let's take a look at the LIXC here. So, all right. So we're gonna do the same, right? We're gonna do the same. We can identify, this is the pre-market here. You see the pink area here, all right? So the pre-market low is right here, all right? Pre-market support somewhere right in here, all right? Pre-market resistance is right here. Pre-market high right there, okay? I'll take this one off, okay? So when the stock opened, it came down. So I'm looking for here, I'm looking for a red to green move pattern, okay? Set up a red to green setup. So I don't know how far this is gonna go. So I don't know, it could come down here, whatever it is. But what I'm looking for when it turn around. When it turn around, it's time to go over my red to green, come back at opening price and start to go. This is where my entry would be. My stop would be the pre-market low, okay? So my first scale out would be the pre-market resistance. Second scale out would be probably the next resistance here. In this case, had two resistance. And then the next scale would be the pre-market high. Okay, and then anything above that, I'm looking to the left to see anything happen here. There's nothing here. So I'm gonna have to look back to the daily chart to see where the next resistance would be. Okay. So in this case, I have to look up up here. I have to look back to the daily chart to see where the next resistance here. So that's another story. We can talk about more on that. But let's say we traded up to here. Anything up here will be a bonus. Okay. So first here you can take the trade right here when it turns red to green. Okay. Let's say my entry is over the 265. My stop would be below 235. Okay. So I'm taking the trade here. If it doesn't go, come back down here, I would stop out here. But it continue to go. My first exit would scale out would be 315. Next scale out would be 345, 350 in this area. And then continue to go. My next scale would be $3.95, $4, somewhere out there. Okay, if we come above this, everything above this will be bonus. Probably I'll go to 4.25, 425. I mean 450, 475, whatever, every 20, 25 cents above that. Okay, assuming that you don't see this, okay, would be right here. Is you good enough from here from 265 to $4? Are you happy with that? You make over 50% of the move, right? Definitely, I'll be super happy with it, 50%. No, but I scale along the way here, okay? So on average, probably I'll make 30% on it, 25% still great. Every day you come in, you make 25% of your return. So it's 4 days, you make 100%. This is a great trade here. Okay. So once you have that routine, okay, the strategy, okay, okay, because you can use whatever the word you use, strategy, the routine, the rinse and repeat, okay, whatever that you call it, but your own gig, okay? So once you have your own gig here, you just rinse and repeat, keep it doing it every morning. Okay, I'm looking at a scanner, see what's going on here. If I plan to trade at LIXT, so I'm gonna look at this for a possible trade and red to green move. And if I want to trade red to green move, what levels can I see? Can I draw the line? If you don't know how to draw the line, then ask your fifth graders in your house. They know how to draw the lines, okay? So to draw the lines, support resistance, pre-market low, pre-market high, pre-market resistance, pre-market resistance, red to green move. When it turns to green, I take the trade. If it go back below pre-market high, I'm out. Pre-market low, I'm out. If it continue to go, what's my next resistance is? My scale out, next resistance, my scale out. And every time I scale out, I move my stop to break even. Up here, up here, up here, then I move up here, and then I move. Okay, just like every step that you take, make sure that you pull your ladder up. Okay. All right, so is that what are we talking about, folks? All right. I wouldn't say it's easy, but it is doable. Once you do a few times, day after days, week after week, maybe it take you a few weeks, depending on how your learning curve. It took me a while, but for a lot of you, probably take it shorter time. Okay, because I'm not the brightest boy out there. Okay, but it take practice. It take due diligence, practice, and practice on the paper money account first. You're not comfortable, and see how you do it. Or starting with a small size and see how you do it. At the end of the trade, you calculate what the percentage return you get, not the amount of money. Then you find out how you do. Then when you adjust your size, then you can make the money that you want after you have that gig. Okay, after you had a gig in your pocket. All right. So, any questions on that, folks? So thank you, Mr. Z, for bringing this up. Great questions. I wholeheartedly believe this is beneficial to everybody, the ladies and gentlemen out there. So it's important for you to learn this. Once you have the skill set, nobody can take it away from you. Okay, and you're gonna drill it every day. So the market might change. You can see they can do shenanigans, but once you have it, well, they do shenanigans here and there, but not every stock you're gonna hit it. Once you have it, you're gonna hit it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hope that helps and learn something. Put another tools in your pocket. If you want to trade in the morning, looking for a setup like red to green move or the divergence, bullish divergence setup. Waterfall trades, whatever the setup that you're looking for. First, you need to identify some ranges, support some resistance, and then once the setup come into you, you just take the trade. Okay, fair enough. All right, thank you, folks.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Reach new levels of trading proficiency. Become a member at TurboTrading.biz.